Imagine if you could automate most of your regular tasks and take your business or profession to the next level. Yes, in this masterclass, in this entire session, we are going to learn how you can do automations for your own business process, for your own profession. So we do so many repetitive tasks every day. Obviously, you and me, right? In different roles. If you're running a business, there are plenty of different departments and different things has to be done. And if you are in a profession, there are so many repetitive jobs we have, which just consume our time, does not add much value, and we're not even learning anything new. What if we can get rid of them using automation? In today's masterclass, we are going to learn how to automate most of our business processes. Along with that, I'll also guide you the fundamentals about automation, how automation work, why we should do automation, and what are the top platforms available to do business process automation. And finally, I'll also give you a complete handholding to build your first automation use case. Beat any software, it should just have an API and we can do the automation. So I'm going to handhold you to your automation journey and let's dive in. So I prepared this complete automation guide. Guidebook, and here we're going to talk about automations using make.com. Before we get into this automation part, there are a couple of disclaimers. I want you to put your phones on silent for at least 1 or 2 hours by the time we finish the course, because this is going to be a little technical topic and your undivided attention is very much required. Second thing, you should eliminate all distractions. So just turn off your other distractions. Take a seat at some corner and put your headphones. Third thing, you should have a pen, paper, and a water bottle so you can just feed yourself and stay focused. Whatever I'm teaching, just take notes. It's going to be very helpful for you. Finally, I want to add enough value to you, but still I may miss out something, or we can do more automation things later on in the future. So stay tuned for that. I'll try best to give you as much as possible. What we are going to cover in this today's session. So a couple of fundamentals. First of all, what is automation? Second, why we do automation? Third is, can we do automation using coding? Or are there solutions available for no code as well? So we are going to explore both of them. Apart from that, I'll also showcase you what is the difference between code-based automation and no-code automation. Then we'll explore a couple of really popular tools which help us to automate our business process or repetitive tasks. Apart from that, we will also explore one really popular and good tool called make.com. So Make can help us to automate most of business processes at very economical level and with very ease of use. Finally, we are going to explore make.com features, the workflow, what we can build with Make, and I'm going to give you a practical hands-on experience building a new automation scenario. Who am I making all these claims? So hi, my name is Manish and I'm founder of GrowStacks. GrowStacks is an automation technology company, served more than 2,000 clients from USA and Europe region, UK and Europe region. And I worked with more than 2,000 businesses, reached over 1 million people in last 90 days just using the automation. Finally, I started an education platform called Automation DIY, where I can teach young professionals or even business owners how to automate business processes yourself, so you don't have to depend on any freelancer, any agency, or large companies. In next video, we are going to see what kind of tasks you can automate and furthermore foundation structure on the automation side. Stay tuned. And I apologize in advance, this session can be a little boring at the start, but before moving ahead, I apologize you in advance that this session can go a little boring at the start, but believe me, you're going to gain a lot good insight, and this is going to be a life-changing or your profession business-changing skill that you're going to develop. So stay with me, complete this entire course, and you will be an automation pro. See you next step. So let's quickly learn why we need automation at all. There are so many tasks we do every day to perform our regular and ad hoc duties. So if you're a working professional or a business owner, you can see a couple of very common things listed down on this particular slide. In case if you're working into marketing management, you have to follow a particular process or a bunch of tasks or bunch of steps for your everyday day-to-day things, right? So for example, you have to do ideation for your marketing content material. Then you go for content creation, then you go for content publishing, then lead generation happens. So leads comes to your way, and then you can collect them, do reporting, do analysis, and again do the ideation for the next level of marketing content. In case you are working into finance management, you process hundreds of invoices every day. You do accounting, do multiple payments, and do these stock operates. Similar way, if you are into sales management, you manage CRM, lead allocations happen, lead nurturing happens, payment confirmation, product delivery, and so many client communication happens throughout the way. So yeah, these are a couple of examples. Now, when you start all of these activities, any new business, any new profession, new job, you find that you are like so energetic, so motivated, because you're going to learn something new. You are added to a new organization, new position, new department, and you try to complete everything. You try to learn so many different things. But what happens after a certain point of time? The tasks become repetitive, and as you scale your duties, as you scale more work, ultimately at the end of the day, you get into this kind of a state where at the end of each day, either you get so many things undone, or maybe There are so many things which are just piling up, taking your time, energy, and effort. Again and again, the same thing. So, what are the reasons why this fatigue happens? There are a couple of good reasons to it. Number one, when you learn something, when you start doing it on a regular basis, that becomes a repetitive activity and that is no longer enjoyable. It's just become boring. Second is generally most of the tasks become no-brainer or low-brainer. So you can even do while you are like doing something else, or you don't have to apply your brain again and again. The third thing is your own value addition goes really low. So imagine there's a bank cashier. Cash is super important. Money is super important, right? The currency notes. But what happens after a certain time? The cashiers keep on counting notes. Does not add much value, right, into his own profession, into his own life. Instead, if he has a machine that count note, then he can obviously do something more better. So even though currency is important, but his value addition to the entire thing is not that value adding or not that important down the line once he mature into his role. Apart from that, these repetitive tasks consume a lot time and effort. And as I said, like the return value is negligible. So most of people get frustrated, get burned out. So imagine what if a robot can do all of these things for you. You would have heard really good robots coming out from Boston Dynamics or from Tesla, or Elon Musk is building so many things. So yes, if a human replacement can be brought in, it can surely help you to do all your tasks in a very wise and good manner. But obviously you can't do that because those robots are super expensive and not that much customizable, which can do your day-to-day task or intellectual tasks. So what is the solution? There is one single solution. We can build automation, and that makes your entire life easy. That can help you overcome all your drawbacks. So, what automation can do for you? It can increase your productivity and efficiency. That is point number one. Second, it can save you a lot time. Third, in case if you wanted to scale your business, your profession, you wanted to generate more output, it can surely help you to scale it with less resources. That is the one of the most beautiful thing about automation. Let's say, for example, if you have a grocery store or maybe you have an e-commerce brand online, you're processing 100 orders a day, and there is one assistant you have which help you to process all those orders. What if you start getting 1,000 orders? If you scale to 1,000, you'll have to deploy 10 people on a daily basis to process those many orders. And what if the order size becomes 10,000 a day? Obviously, you can't deploy 100 people just to process orders. So in that case, the process becomes completely unscalable. And due to that, we lose out opportunities. To overcome that, automation can help us to scale at any level. You see so many platforms are working, Amazon, Flipkart, and so on. So these platforms are very well doing the scalable thing. They did many automations within their own business, and now they're giants. Another most important thing is the automation makes your business or your profession available 24 by 7. You don't have to worry about a person who's just logging off from his working hours and will go to home and not attending your conversation or client things anymore. So instead, if you are putting automation in place, it can handle all your communication, order processing, any sort of event you wanted to customize in terms of project management, manufacturing, and so on. And finally, automations are so much robust. There are very less chances of any human interaction or human errors. So what does it feel when you complete all your tasks before time? You must feel relaxed more, right? You are excited now to explore more about the automation. So I'll show you something more inside the next video, what automation is and what it can do for you. Is automation. If you just go with the term or definition, automation is something where we deploy certain technology, certain systems, maybe code, no code, everything, and we determine how a system is going to work, right? So if there are repetitive tasks has to be performed, we can define certain rules, conditions, some sort of logics, algorithm, and we can simply automate the entire task. That is kind of the theoretical definition. If we learn into the practical mode, let's say if you have to generate content every day for your different posts, and that content has to be generated based on some ideas, some initiatives you take, and you are taking ChatGPT help or Cloud or some sort of AI, right? Now, why can't we simply attach a Google Sheet where just put in some ideas and ChatGPT can automatically take ideas from the Google Sheet, generate the entire content, and post it on all your social media channels? That is called the automation. So there are so many such use cases in our day-to-day practical life which can be automated once we define all the rules, conditions, the framework, and things can be done automatically by the system itself. We have to understand a very important differentiation between different kind of automations. So you'd have seen there are many different automations we in day-to-day life. So let's say there is something called robotic process automation, RPA. You would have seen vehicle or the car manufacturers, right? They have a complete assembly line, and there are mechanical robots that put the entire car chassis at one place, then attach doors, then do some sort of engine attachment, seats, and everything, right? Or you would have seen Boston Robotics robots, right? So these are actually the physical tasks that are being automated using robots. That is one type of automation. And that is honestly very limited use cases in terms of factory manufacturing or some sort of warehouses. It can be used up to that level. When we talk about second level of automations, there are automation where we do computer physical task automation. So let's say if you're doing any sort of manual data entry in a form, or you wanted to scrap some data, form filing or something else. So these tasks which humans sit on computer, they do it manually. And it's kind of a very clerical, very basic level task. So we can also define certain algorithms, certain programs, Selenium scripts, and these tasks can also be automated, right? So it generally control the UI of that entire system and do all the operations. Now, on the third part, which is quite versatile and require intelligence as well, is called software task automation. So we all use so many softwares to perform our daily functions. So for example, let's say for sales tracking, you're using CRM. For all communication, you use WhatsApp, Telegram, or email. For any sort of stock tracking, you're using stock management softwares. Accounting has QuickBooks and so different tasks. So for everything, we use a new software. What if these software tasks can also be automated, because they are all like working on rules or certain logics, as well as the softwares can also be predefined pathway. So we know like what has to be done, what all the steps is going to be. So we can even automate software level tasks which people are performing there. So in this entire section, in this entire course, we are going to talk about software task automation. We are not going to focus anywhere on the first two, the robotic RPA, and the second is computer physical task. We are purely focused on the software task automation. Now I'm going to show you how the world is divided into multiple tasks or multiple work streams, working style, and where the entire working stream is going towards using AI and automation. When we talk about the software usage, automation, or all these task management, the process management thing, the world is divided into three parts. There is a third world countries or third world practices. Like remember how we used to do all tasks manually. So even if you have to do some sort of accounting, you have to create an invoice, you have to book an order, or maybe even you wanted to publish an advertisement or some sort of marketing material. Everything used to be done manually on every business. Then gradually things changed and we got into software era. So humans started working with computers and software. Now, manual part was almost removed. However, softwares took place of all the pen and paper, and we started working on systems, different kind of software. So let's say CRM is there, accounting systems are there, different kind of production management systems are there, project management, communication, so many things have taken place, and the entire manual things are gone. But still, there is a dependency. So this is the second world. People or humans have to sit on a computer and they have to perform all the tasks. Now, this is super time consuming and at times things are repetitive. So let's say if you're just doing a data entry form or you're just classifying certain data inside a Google Sheet or somewhere else, it's fully manual thing which you have to do on your computer. So now there is a first world getting developed with the help of automation and AI, and it is completely moving towards a new edge. So over here, we are going to experience the first world where things will be automated. What do I mean by automation? So primarily, softwares are going to work with softwares and we no longer have to interrupt them. So human intervention is going to be too less. We are not sitting on computer screens to process each and every data point, versus the software and AI is going to handle all the other softwares inside your business. So how cool is that? And in this entire course, we are going to learn the same thing where we are migrating from second world business practices, processes to the first world business processes and practices, where we will implement automation AI to streamline all our processes and to automate them fully end to end. Now, you will have a big question. How a software can control other software? And that's the magic we're going to do in this entire masterclass, where you can get freedom from your software-oriented tasks and your softwares can fully control the other softwares and things can be fully automated. So in next chapter, I'm going to show you a practical demonstration and a complete walkthrough how things look like, how software works, the fundamental of all technology softwares, and on top of it, how we can enable the platform like Make, Zapier or other things to control those softwares, work with them on autonomous mode. Thank you. See you there. Perfect. So welcome back on this amazing automation DIY course where you're going to learn automation to automate your business processes yourself. Now, this is the start of practical session where I'm going to showcase you so many technological things, so many technical keywords, and I'm going to walk you through the background or behind the scene things, how software works, how things are operating just beyond your eyes can see. So let's dive into the practical sessions now. Perfect. So over here, I'm going to showcase you how use see softwares and how they actually work. So for example, over here we have one user interface, it's UI, which we operate on any browser, any sort of window or computer screen. Let's say for example, we are taking Gmail over here. Now Gmail has multiple actions. So as soon as you open gmail.com, you log in into there and then you see a couple of options. One button is called compose. So if you have to write a new mail, just click here and one window opens, you can simply write an email. You can delete some emails, you can move them, you can mark them favorite, and so on. In case if you wanted to go for a reply email, simply click here and it's going to reply to that particular email. Now, all these things are happening manually on computer screen. So you have to sit on a system, and then like you'll have to do all the commands, all the operations, all the functions. This is not automation way, right? So now I'm going to showcase you these softwares work at the backend, and obviously we are going to work with that backend to streamline the entire automation process, to control things using the other softwares. So let's dive in. Let's see what is that. So there is a method called API, like how softwares can control other software, or how these interfaces are working with their backend softwares on Google Cloud or on Google servers. So here you can see all these interfaces are controlled or connected using something called API. API is a full form is application programming interface. Now imagine you're sitting in a restaurant and you wanted to order some food, you want to have some food, right? Now over here you order to a waiter, like you just place your wishes, what you want to eat, and that waiter takes that order to chef prepare the dish, give it to waiter, and then waiter will come back and deliver the dish to your table. So that's the entire way how generally a request goes to a server and it's getting being processed. Now over here, if we can directly work with this waiter and we can automate tasks on the waiter side, then we don't need directly to order like through a desk or through a table. We can straightforward give any instruction directly into his mind and he can get process things done. So over here, APIs work in the same way. Here, the waiter can be replaced with API. The end user is sitting on a browser. He opens the Gmail or maybe any other application, do some request, compose email, write something, reply, and so on. And it sent the request to API. Now, furthermore, APIs connect with the backend server, the backend system, and they furthermore do all the processing to send email, to structure it, and so on. And then they get back all the information to the user that email is sent or everything is done. Now, what if we can directly work with these API on the system itself? Now, if that has happened, then we can directly, without sitting on a computer interface, without using the UI of any software, we can straight up control all the software, all the repetitive tasks using the API itself. So how cool is that? Now I'm going to showcase you a live demonstration. I should have ideally asked you, do you want to see a live demonstration of this? So actually this was a presentation created on a workshop. Now since I'm recording it, it's already there. Send a yes in a comment. But in case if you are excited, just put yes in the comment or somewhere at the bottom of this video. And I am going to show you a live demonstration of APIs, how they work behind your browser, behind your screen, right? So let's dive in and let's see. Perfect. So here I'm on my Gmail. I simply opened my Gmail. I logged into this particular screen where I have composed all the email read as well as all of these things and maybe some sort of reply or more actions on every email. Now, what happens? Like, we are just operating this part. What if we have to automate this entire thing? So we should work with API, as I hope you remember that. Now, simply press F12 on your keyboard to get into the backend of this entire system. And once you do, there is something called network. So if you go to network, you see there are so many requests, so many connections happening behind this entire screen. So as soon as I click on, let's say this email, or maybe I go back to this particular inbox, see here how fast it is interacting with the Google servers. Let me capture one of the API. So let's say over here. Now this particular API wanted to request this particular URL. It's called, okay, let me just take this one. It's so fast. Perfect. So here you can see one of the example where the request was sent to this server called mail.google.com, and there is something static entire request ID is given. Along with that, there are a couple of request reviews or maybe some sort of load was also given, and it says like you should get some information from Gmail server. Now this thing get response from Gmail server, and here you see this entire function, all the codings are written back at the back of your screen. So you can't even see that, but that's happening actually. Once I click, let's say here, you can see the another vendor, see here. So all of the same requests are happening with Google, different servers, different functions and different things. But yeah, that is actually helping you to trigger and to see your emails on a screen. What if we can directly work with this code, with this entire structure? So we don't have to even interact with this entire screen with the UI, and any software, any other computer can directly control your Gmail, right? So let's dive in. So this entire part is actually called API, right? Application Programming Interface. And these APIs are actually working with your different applications. Now, we are going to explore how the APIs look like, what the API is all about, and how we can control them. So you must be wondering, do I have to work with these APIs? I have to get every information from here and then figure out what has to be done? The answer is no. So most of the good software vendors or software manufacturers, creators, have built an API documentation where they facilitate their users, any sort of development friendly people, to control or to operate their softwares in automation mode. So let's go over here and just type in on Google Gmail API. So now over here you see these are the Gmail API, and in case if you wanted to control API directly from any of your programming language or things, you can simply go to, let's say, create draft, send email, and this is how the entire thing works. So for example, I'm on to send email API at this point, and this is how the API document look like. Obviously it is not human readable, I would say. It's or maybe it's not a common man readable, it's purely a technical language. So this is written to Java. The same thing can be written to Python language as well. And if you wanted to work with APIs, you'll have to go through this entire Python code. You'll have to write it into some programming servers, and then you can control the send email, draft, upload attachment, and so on. The first question was where we can find APIs. Either you can go for a Google search, or in case, let me just show you one more example over here. In case if you go to any particular vendor's website, or let's say any particular software website, let's say I go for monday.com. Now Monday is a popular platform for different kind of task management and the project management tool. Now if you land on monday.com main website, you can simply scroll down and you will see something here that's called developers or maybe APIs. So there is a dedicated section most of the software providers give is called API or developers. Simply click on this and you will land on the entire API documentation. So from there you can figure out which particular API, which particular action you want to perform using automation. So these are some destinations where you can easily figure out how to access the API for any other system. So these are two methods where we can go for company website or we can go for a Google search. Now, how the APIs look like. So in general, APIs have different endpoints and different actions. As I said, like you can get email in Gmail, or you can send an email, you can save draft, you can delete emails, and so on. So same actions can be done using API. Over here, let's say for example, I took Zoho CRM. Now you can see on this screen, we have different kind of methods. So it's called get method, post method, put method, delete, and so on. So get is like to get some records, post it to update any record inside server or database of that particular application. We can update any record using put method or delete records. So primarily these are the main four actions which generally anyone perform on a software UI interface. And the same thing can be done using API. So API documentation look like this. Now, generally APIs has a specific endpoint for each action. So it can define, like in case of UI, you click on a particular button, you have one button place somewhere. The same thing, APIs has a specific endpoint for each of the actions. So let's say if you want to compose an email, simply go for that particular endpoint of compose email, and it is going to compose that mail. Now, in case of API, we cannot write things on plain language. So we have to write it on JSON. Now, JSON is a kind of data structure or kind of a language which APIs and computer understand really well. And it's a more structured way of putting data into a system. So over here, this is the example how the API responds, and this is entire data structure what JSON returns. So as I said, APIs can do wonders. It can create record, retrieve, view them, or even update them, delete, search, list, and even there is something called webhooks. So in case if any event happens inside your software, you can also get notified or trigger any automation workflow at any other system. Now, there's a big roadblock in this entire automation flow. So far you saw what APIs are, how they look like, and how we can work with them. So primarily, we can work with API using Python, Java, or these kind of languages. And since you guys or most of the people are common man, they have not any technical knowledge or any sort of technical language expertise. So that becomes a big roadblock, and we cannot work with the API. We cannot automate our system. So what's the way? The solution is automation platforms that we are going to look into the next video. Welcome back to this amazing class of Automation DIY, and today you are here to learn automation. So now we were talking about you should have Python or JavaScript or those kind of languages knowledge to work with APIs and to automate your system. But that is no longer truth, because these days there are so many good entrepreneurs, innovators who brought in really good platform which can help us to avoid this entire hustle, build automation ourselves without writing a single line of code. What these platforms are, so there are so many solutions available, more than 1,000 apps available in market to automate things. But I prepared a small collection of top apps which are coming from top brands, top creators, and they are so much reliable. So the first position goes to Zapier. Zapier is one of the no-code, low-code tool where you can simply build automation connecting multiple systems, simple basic workflows, 2, 3, 4 step, and your things can be automated really fast. Second goes to make.com. So Make has good following, and it is way more advanced platform as compared to Zapier. We can do so many things. I'm going to showcase you some really good examples of automation, and you will wonder like how much can be done with Make. The third good platform comes up with Microsoft Power Automate. Obviously, you know Microsoft brand. It's a really good established company, but again, there are a couple of limitations Microsoft has, and they are gradually improving them. So obviously taking up good place at the third level. Then we have other platform like Kissflow, Automate.io, Pabbly, and the names are countless. So we are going to choose today a platform called make.com. Why Make? There are a couple of reasons to it. First of all, the Zapier platform is opted so far by about 2.5 million businesses across globe. and it started almost 10 years back, whereas Make started about 6 years back, and it is capturing the market really fast because of its comprehensiveness and its good UI UX in the entire automation experience, plus the advanced building capabilities. So we are using Make, or we are preferring Make, because it is almost 20 times less expensive than Zapier. Secondly, it has a really great visual builder, so you can simply drag drop things on automation and build it really fast. Third is we can do any sort of custom API call. So in case if any app is not already available inside Make, by the way, I would like to add it here. So Make, Zapier, these platforms already have thousands of different business apps pre-built over there. So you don't have to do any such API calls, any such technical stuff. Simply drag drop, choose your right action triggers, and build your automation workflow. But in case Make also has a good custom API call builder, which is super easy, and it can completely transform the way you work. So if any of your app is not available, go for custom API call. Then it has very easy data handling and so many advanced options and functions, so we don't have to write code at all. In case of Zapier, we do have to write JavaScript or maybe sometime Python, but in Make it's not required at all. Most of things are already handled within Make. Now the last, not the least, very important part is reliability. Because of you are going to transform your process, a manual process, into automated process, you are giving away your entire important steps, important dependency to a technical company, to a technical software. It's no longer human. If something fails, you have no control on it, and your business can collapse immediately. So reliability is one of the most important aspect. Again, along with reliability, data security is another very important thing, but reliability is super important. That is really crucial, important for you to continue run your business while you're working with automation and these kind of workflows. So Make is one of the really good platform, reliable platform. They have multi-level servers, they have good data security compliances, including HIPAA, including GDPR, and these kind of standard. So we are going to stay oriented on this entire session on make.com. Now in next lectures we'll see what can be automated, what cannot be automated, how to go with make.com. I have a really good surprise gift for you as well. So whenever you are ready, whenever we'll reach to that particular point, I'm going to reveal that surprise, and that is going to save you a lot money, and it's going to make your start really easy. Stay with me for a couple of more minutes, and we are going to jump inside automation very soon. Thank you. Perfect. So topic for this particular video is what can be automated, what cannot be automated. So far you would have understood, like if we have any repeated process, those things can be automated. The second thing important is we are going to work with APIs. So any software should have APIs available, then only we can enable automation. And the final thing is the process or the entire automation should have predefined steps, rules, conditions, and logics. Without that, automation will not be able to work in autonomous mode. Right, it's just going to be a dumb integration where human intervention is required on every step. So if we can do these three important things, then process can be automated, and then it is even worth automating. What cannot be automated? So I said, like any ad hoc things, any ad hoc task, ad hoc processes, steps which require human decision making or human intervention every now and then, that should not be automated. Otherwise you're just wasting effort and your precious resources on the automation part. Secondly, softwares which does not have API cannot be integrated inside automation. So because of these two reasons, you can always classify what cannot be and what can be automated. That's the golden rules of automation. Perfect. So far we learned what can be automated, what cannot be automated. Now it's high time we should start thinking about automation. And before that, I would like to showcase you one really important thing that is called pre-automation checklist. If you don't follow this, you may ultimately mess up with automations. You may create inefficient or incomplete automation ultimately that lead to some fatigue, or you may even get irritated while building the automation. So ultimate objective is far away if we are not following a structured process. What is the process? As I said, there are a couple of checklist points and the best practices we should follow. Number one, before you create any automation, ensure you create a list of all the softwares and apps that are going to be used inside that particular automation. Now, what all those apps can be. So let's say, for example, if you're building a social media posting scenario, you wanted to store data in some Google Sheet or maybe some spreadsheet, some database. Then you wanted to generate content using ChatGPT kind of AI. Then furthermore, you wanted to post that content on different social media like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, along with image, without image, the posting schedule should happen, and so on. So there can be multiple things you'll have to take care, you'll have to imagine before you start building the automation. So first, build out a list of all the software and the apps that are involved inside automation. Secondly, check if those software has API available or not. If they don't have an API, don't go for them. Try to figure out some alternate way. So you can find many alternate solutions. Let's say if Google Sheet did not have APIs, we can go with Excel or something else. Similar way, If, for example, ChatGPT did not have API, we can go with Perplexity, with Cloud A or some other AI. So similarly, you'll have to figure out which particular app has API. Now, within that API also, you should be very careful while choosing the software in the API usage, because most of the international level companies give you API access as complimentary service along with their main subscription. But those things come with some limitation. So you should be very careful while looking at the API documentation, API availability, and many of the companies also do charge separately for the API access. So ensure your company provide APIs within your budget, within your subscription, else you can have to figure out some other solution. The third last very important thing is you should have a pre-visualization of the entire automation workflow. For that, you can create a flowchart. This can be as simple as put it on a pen paper, create your entire flow, just define all the rule logic conditions. Else you can do it using some sort of tool like Miro is there, or flowchart Canva is there, and so many other different tools. Even you can do within your Excel or Word spreadsheet as well. So ensure you have all of these points covered, and then only once you're satisfied, once you have clear vision of building automation, what you're expecting as an input, what process these all software should do, and what is the ultimate outcome you expect, then only go ahead and touch the automation platform. Just prepare this checklist, just follow all these points so you can avoid any sort of frustration, fatigue, and ultimately you can reach a good outcome that you expected from automation. Wait. Before we move ahead, I have a gift for you. It's not Christmas, but still I'm excited to give you a gift because you've given so much undivided attention and so much focus. So now, before we create an account on make.com, just focus here. If you create the account with this particular magic link, it's going to give you 10,000 operations for free for 1 month. That is equivalent to $20 of value on a make.com pro plan. Just follow this link. This is given by Make to all their partners. So any new user added from these links will be given 10,000 operations for free for the first month. So you can have plenty of operation and plenty of scenarios you can create to test out your automation workflow, make yourself familiarize with the whole process. So super excited. I have given this link on description at the bottom, comment somewhere, wherever you are seeing this video. Just follow through the bottom side. You'll see this link, create it and get your free gift now. Thank you very much. Once you create account, we'll start building the automation in a practical way. Thank you. Hey guys, so now are you ready to create your first make.com account? With the gift that I gave you, I promised you for 10,000 operations free of cost on the first month. So once you're ready, let's jump in. So over here we have this link. This is called make.com register. PC is gross tax, and you will land on this kind of a page where you see it says special offer, get 1 month pro plan for free, and you don't have to pay anything. So there are multiple options available over here. So you can choose how do you want to create your account. You can go with Google sign up or Facebook sign up or maybe the GitHub or those kind of logins, or you can simply put your entire thing over here, your name, your email address, password, and you can choose the right hosting and the country. Now, in case of hosting, Make has servers on US and Europe region because of their certain requirements or data security stuff, but it does not make difference for any other country. So you can choose either of them, either EU, European Union, or United States. Now, this is something important. You have to choose your country like obviously correctly, because this is going to determine your time zone, and based on this time zone, all your scenario, all your automation will work, right? So be very careful while you choose your country. It should be always right, because it's going to define the time zone, scenario and time. So complete this entire sign up quickly and we'll get into make.com. I'll walk you through a quick view of how Make look like, what all components are there on the dashboard. Thank you. Perfect. So here we are inside our make.com dashboard. So once you log in, you will see this kind of a screen where you get to see like what's your organization name. By default, it goes as my organization or my lab. Instead, you can simply go ahead and change this name. So you can just put a name over here. Once you sign in, the reason is by default selected. So your data will be stored on these servers. You cannot change it later on. But over here, you see something called time zone. Now, time zone is, as I said, it's super important. So couple of countries, or I would say many countries, have multiple time zones available. For example, US has about 6 to 7 different time zones. So ensure you choose right time zone. Like even 1 hour or 2 hours here and there can disturb your scenarios, right? And choose the country wisely. In case if you wanted to establish some billing details, if you're working it for a company, you can simply put all your tax information, tax credit and so on, your billing address, and things will be generated accordingly. You can define a payment method. You can define you can invite new people into this organization, transfer. I'll come on later on these. I will come on all these things later on. But for now, see here, this is the entire dashboard. Couple of essential controls are given over here, which are required day in, day out. And couple of summary level or broad level things are given over here on the top. So this is the organization tab or home tab where you click and you will always land on this particular page. Now here under organization, first tab you see what's your current plan. So currently I'm on core plan. By default, you can be on a free plan, or if you sign up with the link, you will be on the pro plan. So this will show your plan, how much is you being charged, or like what is the cost of this particular plan. So currently I have this $10. I'm getting 10,000 operations every month. And same way it shows how many unused operation, what is my billing interval. So make gives you two option. You can go with billing for annual or monthly. So currently I'm on a monthly billing. Now this particular chart and this particular widget shows us over here how many operations we have already used and the percentage of the operations. So operation is nothing but number of tasks or steps followed by make scenarios to complete your automation workflow. Right? I will come on later on what one operation is called. Yeah. On top of it, here we have data transfer as well. So make help us to do many automation tasks, and obviously each automation will get some data from a particular application, will put the data into some other application. So in that entire transition, make transfer work with a lot much data. For example, let's say if you have an automation which pick up file from your Google Drive, the videos from your Google Drive, and publish them on your YouTube channel. Now each video can consist of, let's say, 100 MB, 200 MB, or up to a GB of size, right? Gigabytes of size. Now make has to pick up the data from Google Drive and will post it on YouTube. It will consume, let's say, 1 GB from here, 1 GB from there. So total 2 GB data will be transmitted through make. So that is what make controls or make shows you here. So there is no unlimited data as such. It is restricted to 5 GB in my current plan. And with every 10,000 operation, let's say if you increase your plan to 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 operations, this data limit will increase every 5 GB on every 10,000 operations purchase. This shows you a whole graph of every day, like for last 30 days, how many operations and how much data you consumed on a day-to-day basis. Just hover the mouse over here and you can see everything appear like this. Now, coming to the second part, Teams is not much relevant for us because under team plan, and most of the organization does not even need team plan or program. So just skip that part. Over here under users, this is something super important. So once you are into this user segment, Make gives you ability to add unlimited number of people to your Make.com organization. So for example, if you have 10 people in your company who wanted to use Make for their respective different automation requirements, let's say someone wanted to do finance level automation, someone else want to do marketing automation, sales automation, CRM automation, and so on, you can onboard all of those people over here, give access to them as per their own requirements. So you can make them admin, member, accountant, app developer, and so on. Mostly admin and member would be two sufficient roles. Accountant are generally to see the payment and subscription details. So over here, you can add unlimited people. There is no restriction on it, and Make gives you ability to. Now over here, we have subscription. So you can choose among multiple plans. I would always recommend to go with the core plan because there is not much difference in day-to-day working between core and pro or even teams, and that unnecessary cost you like double or triple money. So no need to go with them, just go with core plan for now. In case if you have very limited usage, you can also stick to free plan. So here is free plan called like $0 a month, free forever, and it gives you 1,000 operations every month, right? And over here you can have two active scenarios all the time. So this is a restriction, but yeah, this can suffice, or this can do most of your work for free. In case of core plan, over here it costs you $10 a month if you're going with a monthly billing. Currently I'm on monthly billing. If you go for yearly, it's going to cost you $9 a month. Now here you can choose among the multiple tier or among the multiple operation stages. So if you want 10,000 operation costing you $10, 20,000, 30,000, 50,000, and so on. So as per your requirement, you can choose which plan suits you. If you're not clear, just stay with this $10 10,000 operations plan, and that should be more than good. Over here, a couple of more benefits make elaborate, and you can see a complete comparison list. So across everywhere, most of the functions are checked, so you don't lose out anything as such. But yeah, this is pretty helpful. So you can just review as per your requirement. And obviously you can add, you can subscribe and subscribe your plan from here, from my plan. So I can cancel subscription and so on. I can change my payment method. And one important thing, as I said, if you're not aware about your usage, let's say you choose a $10,000 plan, sorry, 10,000 operations plan. In that case, if you already consumed all the operation, you can simply go to click and buy extra operation. Now here Make gives an amazing flexibility where you can buy operations in bunch of 1,000. So you can have like you can just pay $1, get 1,000 operations every time. So you simply, let's say if you need 2,000 extra operation, 3,000 extra operation, just pay this much and select payment method, apply, and this will increase your operation count. So no need to go to the next plan, but you can just buy the extra operation automatically. Over here, Make also gave one more thing. It's called extra operation purchase automation. So you can simply check it on, and it can buy extra operation once your plan reached the limit automatically. So your scenarios will not get interrupted at all. Now, apart from this, let's quickly walk through a couple of other things. So over here we have team. Again, not much relevant because it's primarily classified into teams plan. Over here, we have scenarios. Now, scenario is the heart of the Make. Like, that's why we are here. So, scenarios is nothing but the automation use case that we built on Make.com. So, you see a long list of scenarios that I have built. It's almost 400 scenarios are there. They are primarily classified into active all scenarios, the complete list. You can sort them A to Z, new, old, and so on. You can have a classification of active scenarios, inactive scenarios, these two segments. So, currently, I have active 11 scenario. Rest all are deactivated for now. Apart from that, you can organize your entire work in a very precise, good manner. So you'll not have any these kind of loose scenarios as such. So you can create multiple folders over here. Click on this folder icon and you can simply type in a name. Let's say I'll say accounting automation, and this folder will be created right across over here. Now within that, I can create scenarios or I can move scenarios using drag drop. So I simply click drag drop. This will be moved into that particular folder, right? So this is how you can organize everything. Now, one more important thing, in case if you want to turn off any scenario or toggle on, then you can simply go here, click turn on, turn off, and that can be done very straightforward, very easily. You can clone it right from here itself, or you can even delete the scenarios which are not required. Now, apart from that, there is one super important thing that I'm going to cover into the next video, that is called templates. So let's, once you are set up, just go through this entire thing, and I'm going to showcase you template part in the next video. Thank you. Perfect. So let's now dive into something really important that's called templates. Now, Make has given so many templates over here, which can be helpful, which we can simply configure based on the predefined actions, predefined ideas, and build our own automation scenarios right from here itself. So let's say if you wanted to do automated posting of blogs or maybe some sort of social media content using ChatGPT, it can help you over here. Same way, if you wanted to send emails right from Google Sheets directly from your Gmail, those things can also be done. So there are so many templates given across different kind of apps and different kind of business processes. You can simply go over and just choose whatever you want. So this can be a good start point where you don't have to apply some ideation your brain at the start, but you can simply choose a template among them. So what you have to do, simply go and click on any of these templates. Now here it has something called like a start guided setup, or you can simply go with create a new scenario from this template itself, where you can do things at your own comfort, like at your own manual configuration. I'll go with the start setup guide. Now over here is going to ask us like we should establish a connection. So first of all, we already have a connection over here. If not, it's going to ask us to establish a connection. Click add, follow through these things. Let's say it is asking for the REST API base URL as well as the API key to connect with this WordPress module. If you provide that, we are going to get connected to this module. If you don't have it, you don't know how to get these API things and all, under every module, there is something called for more information, how to create a scenario on WordPress and C. You can click on this online help, and this is going to take you to a dedicated help page which has everything about the connection, how to establish connection, what are the steps to follow, what is the API key, and so on, right? And apart from that, all the modules are also mentioned over here. What all things can be done with this WordPress module, right? So this is quite common thing which you will find across all the apps. Now, on the second part, you see, once I click continue, it's asking me from where you want to start. So like obviously, most of the scenario, most of the people want to start an automation from now onwards. So you may not want to process the old data, but in case if you want to, you can simply go here, choose a specific date. So it can watch, post, or process data from a previous day. You can choose all. You can also choose manually, like if you wanted to process data from a specific post, a specific point in time. So this is one thing over here. Secondly, it's going to give you a complete guided setup of each of these modules. You have to establish connection, choose the model. So let's say, for example, here I go and choose GPT-4o. It will have some sort of predefined configuration as well. So you don't have to worry about or thoughtful about the configuration part. And this is how the entire flow works. So I hope you understand things about the template part. If you have more questions, you can skip this guide or you can watch the other videos where they are going to help you to learn and see how templates can be configured. But now my core focus is going to be on those two automation which I promised you. One is the email auto reply and second is social media posting. So I'll come on that and we'll showcase you how those things are working. So this was a quick overview of the templates stuff. Thank you. Okay, one more thing before I move out of this video. So over here you can search any app you want. So let's say if I go for Gmail, just type in, you'll find Gmail over here, and all the template which contains Gmail will come over here. So all of these has Gmail as one of the application inside the automation scenario. So this is one. Same way, if I go for Google Sheets, all the scenario which covers, all the template which covers Google Sheet are also available right across here. So you can choose among them, like whatever thing you wanted to do, you can simply go ahead. So I hope this helped. This you may like it. And now in next video, we are going to build our own scenario from scratch. So would love to connect with you again. Thank you very much. Good day. Bye. Hey guys, so welcome back to this amazing chapter of Automation DIY. Now, here we are going to look at one of the fundamentals. The fundamentals about what is operation, how make plans, how make charges you to run through your automation scenarios, right? So over here you can see on the screen, let's say we have built this small automation scenario as we are going to watch new Gmail emails. We'll process it using ChatGPT AI, and then finally we'll create a draft inside our draft box, right? So we can simply hit reply and the email can go out. Now, over here, see, these are three different tasks which the make.com is going to do. This automation scenario will do. So first of all, it's going to watch for new emails. Whenever there is a new email arrives, it's going to fetch that email. It will read that email. Second, it will send that same email to ChatGPT for the further processing. So over here, you can see like we have provided a GPT prompt, and along with that, this entire response or this entire email content also being tagged here. Plus, we are asking GPT to do certain things. And finally, we want this GPT output to go into create a draft on the same email thread. Now, these are three different tasks which are going to happen across this entire automation scenario. So if I go out, let me just go for one of the previous execution. So let's say we have this one. Now, you can see here, everywhere on each of the modules when the scenario runs, it is going to give us one small pop-up over here. This is like how many operations or how many data it processed actually. So over here, you can see it processed one data, like one incoming email. If we open it, you will see the complete email as the body, everything. So here is the sender, like this was the sender person, the email content, the whole content over here, as well as subject line and everything. So this all data coming for one single email, which being fetched by the particular module. Second, we send some input to this GPT. So over here, you will see two things. This is the input part, and GPT when processed it, it got us this whole result over here, right? So GPT, this module did one more task. And finally over here, we mapped this GPT output and we got this particular draft created. So this particular one consumed three operation or three tasks. So in make.com, whatever number of tasks being performed using an automation scenario are considered as number of operation. So you can directly correlate this entire thing with the make.com plans. So over here, let's say I have $10, 10,000 operations plan, and you can see that I already consumed 8,651 operations so far. 86% of the account is used. Now, this is a combination of how many operations are daily basis used, and like there can be multiple scenarios who are running on different frequency or processing different data, but the whole idea of operations is that, right? So you can always check your operation consumption. In case if you wanted to look out for specific scenario level operations, you can always go here on the scenario, and you can see here this scenario consumed 24 operations in total during this particular billing cycle. So this is going to get reset at the end of your plan expiry and will restart when your plan restart like from the particular date. So in this entire operation cycle, it consumed 24 operation and 2.8 MB of data. This consumed 22 operations and so on. So there may be some scenarios which are even consuming more and more operations. Let's check. So over here, this one got 14, this got 0 operations consumed and so on. So yeah, this is how you can always see this particular scenario, which is sending a book message to Airtable for our own organization purpose, that consumed 3,971 operations so far. So if I click over here, it is going to give me a whole history. And for each history run, you can see this has like 8 operations, 11 operation, 15 operation. So this is how you can always check how many operations are being taken up for each of the run. And if you, let's say, for example, go for this 15 operations, see here. So now in this case, we got total 9 emails processed. You see here until 9 bundles. So these bundles got processed over here. So to fetch all of those 9, it took only one single operation because this was a trigger module. But over here, the furthermore, it has to process all of them. So over here, like it processed 9 operations to extract the like respective text. And from there, it had a filter. And finally, it created 5 Airtable records. Now, one thing super important, make consume or make consider operation wherever the modules are used, right? It does not consume or count operation for the filters or any middle level processing. Let's say if you apply a router or you apply a filter, so those operations are not at all taken up in terms of the usage. So I hope you like this whole video. If you have any questions, drop me on comments or drop me on your questions directly and I'll be more than happy to answer. Thank you very much. Good day. Bye. Perfect. So let's now dive into something really important that's called templates. Now, Make has given so many templates over here, which can be helpful, which we can simply configure based on the predefined actions, predefined ideas, and build our own automation scenarios right from here itself. So let's say if you wanted to do automated posting of blogs or maybe some sort of social media content using ChatGPT, it can help you over here. Same way, if you wanted to send emails right from Google Sheets directly from your Gmail, those things can also be done. So there are so many templates given across different kind of apps and different kind of business processes. You can simply go over and just choose whatever you want. So this can be a good start point where you don't have to apply some ideation your brain at the start, but you can simply choose a template among them. So what you have to do, simply go and click on any of these templates. Now here it has something called like start guided setup, or you can simply go with create a new scenario from this template itself, where you can do things at your own comfort, like at your own manual configuration. I'll go with the start setup guide. Now over here is going to ask us like we should establish a connection. So first of all, we already have a connection over here. If not, it's going to ask us to establish a connection. Click add, follow through these things. Let's say it is asking for the REST API base URL as well as the API key to connect with this WordPress module. If you provide that, we are going to get connected to this module. If you don't have it, you don't know how to get these API things and all, under every module, there is something called for more information, how to create a scenario on WordPress and C. You can click on this online help, and this is going to take you to a dedicated help page, which has everything about the connection, how to establish connection, what are the steps to follow, what is the API key, and so on, right? And apart from that, all the modules are also mentioned over here. What all things can be done with this WordPress module, right? So this is quite common thing which you will find across all the apps. Now, on the second part, you see, once I click continue, it's asking me from where you want to start. So, like obviously, most of the scenario, most of the people want to start an automation from now onwards. So, you may not want to process the old data. But in case if you want to, you can simply go here, choose a specific date. So, it can watch, post, or process data from a previous day. You can choose all. You can also choose manually, like if you wanted to process data from a specific post, a specific point in time. So this is one thing over here. Secondly, it's going to give you a complete guided setup of each of these modules. You have to establish connection, choose the model. So let's say, for example, here I go and choose GPT-4o. It will have some sort of predefined configuration as well. So you don't have to worry about or thoughtful about the configuration part. And this is how the entire flow works. So I hope you understand things about the template part. If you have more questions, you can skip this guide or you can watch the other videos where they are going to help you to learn and see how templates can be configured. But now my core focus is going to be on those two automation which I promised you. One is the email auto reply and second is social media posting. So I'll come on that and will showcase you how those things are working. So this was a quick overview of the templates stuff. Thank you. Okay, one more thing before I move out of this video. So over here you can search any app you want. So let's say if I go for Gmail, just type in, you'll find Gmail over here, and all the template which contains Gmail will come over here. So all of these has Gmail as one of the application inside the automation scenario. So this is one. Same way, if I go for Google Sheets, all the scenario which covers, all the template which covers Google Sheet are also available right across here. So you can choose among them, like whatever thing you wanted to do, you can simply go ahead. So I hope this helped. You may like it. And now in next video, we are going to build our own scenario from scratch. So would love to connect with you again. Thank you very much. Good day. Bye. Thank you so much for giving undivided attention and focus so far. I'm super excited to get you into practical sessions now. So from here onwards, we are going to do complete practicals. We'll build two automation scenarios together. One is our most common use case where we receive emails. Why not ChatGPT can read those emails, prepare replies, save them in a draft, and on a click, we can send them automatically to the recipient. And second use case, we are going to build an automation. There, we will create ChatGPT-based, AI-based content right from make.com automation scenario, and that content will be posted across multiple platforms like social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, as well as we'll also generate a good creative, a good image along with that post. So are you excited to get into this journey with me? You can see here. So now I need at least 90 more minutes of undivided attention from your side, and I'm going to give you an amazing skill, an amazing magic wand that can completely transform your day-to-day work life, your business growth, your professional growth with the power of AI and automation. So stay tuned with me for next 90 minutes and you will always remember this particular session in your entire life where you learn automation to save your time, effort, money, and to reach to the next level of your career and businesses. So I'll see you in next chapter. Thank you.